dear viewers, wherever you are, hello and welcome to this new episode of your program, Love Spectra. Hypnosis, between myth and fact. People usually wondered about hypnosis. They've seen a lot of hypnosis taking place on movies, TV series, etc., etc. Very lately, we had the movie Hypnotic, and it just went viral all around the world, and people started wondering, what is true and what is fiction in this movie? To what extent can someone under hypnosis be a victim to the hypnotist? And what is the nature of hypnosis really? Does the hypnotist really have the power to fully control, manipulate, induce his patient or victim, as in the movie? To shed more light on this issue here and to know what is true and what is not, I'm really delighted to be accompanied by my very usual and always very special guest, Audice Nasser, who is a clinical hypnotherapist and a university professor. Audice, hello and welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
It's always a pleasure to have you. And Audice, to start off, would you shed some light on what is hypnosis? Like, what is the real part of hypnosis? Because, we see it a lot in movies, we see it sometimes in theaters, you see like hypnosis has been part and parcel of showbiz actually for a very long time now. So what is real hypnosis? You as a clinical hypnotherapist, what is hypnosis?
Hypnosis means deep focus. That's it. If you want me to make it very short, you are just deeply focused. You're not sleeping, you're not losing control, you're just focused on the inside, on your feelings, on your thoughts, on whatever you're going through. That's what it is. But in pop culture, in the media, they made it completely wrong, and it's completely different. If you want me to give you a little bit of reason why we probably believe what we see on TV, do you want me to just wait till the end or just give you a little bit of history?
We'll get to this for sure. We'll definitely get to this as we talk. And so what are the types of hypnosis? Is it only one type, or are there many different types of hypnosis?
It's not types, it's levels. What happens is when a client comes in, depending on what the issue is, we go through different levels of focusing or hypnosis. So there's 12 levels. If you're here to quit smoking, work on your anger, releasing whatever sadness you have, I will go like to second level or third level of focusing to help you focus. If you're here because I am helping you giving birth or pain management, or you're in a hospital for having surgery, I'm going to go all the way to the 12th level where you feel nothing, like your body you don't feel pain. So there are different levels, but it's all hypnosis. It's not. There is also different parts of hypnotherapy. For instance, there is one for past life regression, one for spiritual releasement, one for life between lives, like different parts of hypnotherapy. There's brain spotting is another type of hypnotherapy. So these will be, I guess, different branches of it, I would say. But for your question, it would be one. You're focused, but there's different levels of focusing depending on your needs.
So to what extent can a hypnotist really control the person being hypnotized? So can they really control their emotions, their free will? Can they manipulate that?
No, not to that degree. What happens is all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, and it's consent-based. So if you're in my clinic and you're here because you want to quit smoking, you really want to quit smoking, when you're in hypnosis, your subconscious is open, where I can put in the suggestions where you're going to be a smoke-free, you're going to be a non-smoker, you're going to be looking after your health. So I put the suggestions in your subconscious. And what happens is when you leave and you're just about to pick up the cigarette, you're going to hear me. You're going to hear the thoughts that I put in. But I cannot control you. You can always override that. You can always go and grab the cigarette if you want. Free will always takes over. But hypnosis, meaning I just implanted the suggestions that it will come in like nagging you in the back when whatever thing you're dealing with. So instead of becoming automatic, you start to hear it's like, stop, don't smoke or whatever it is. That's what's going to happen. You're going to hear them, you're going to feel them, but it doesn't mean they're going to control you. Not at all. However, if you keep listening to hypnosis, you keep repeating them, you keep hearing, I'm a non-smoker, non-smoker, non-smoker. That's where the suggestions become permanent. The more I reinforce them, the more I keep drilling, we put it this way, the more I drill, the more it becomes more of a control, but I cannot control you. You're the one who lets it in. I'm trying to explain it. It's consent-based. You have to consent to it. I cannot force anything on.
You have to let yourself give in. Like they can't just, intrude. The hypnotist cannot intrude. Like you still have the upper hand at the end of the day.
Always is, but you know what? How do you explain this? So the media hypnotize us and without us knowing. For instance, LCBO is known for doing this. I mean, the moment you walk into LCBO, they're hypnotizing you because what happens is your conscious mind can only notice 40 things per second, but your subconscious can pick up 11 billion things per second, picks up things that you're not aware of. Subliminal stuff, messages, things around you you're not noticing. But LCBO, what they do is if they want to increase the sales of German wines, as soon as you walk in, there's German music playing in the background. There's German words somewhere different.
Okay.
You got it? So you don't notice, but somehow you end up buying German wines. If they want to increase French wines, they will put French music. They have French perfumes. They're using La Vie en Rose. They're putting all these subliminal, and you don't know, and you just end up buying French wine. You would think it's free will, but they actually kind of bombarded you behind the scene.
Okay.
But the media, politics, social media, all these words that we keep hearing, like the new normal, now it became I think that's automatic. We know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So yes, we do get hypnotized by the media. Marketing is known. The best hypnotists work in marketing. Everybody knows that. In ads and things, because they know where to find certain things to trigger something in you. And you may think you are the one who made the choice, but there's a lot of behind the scene going in, pushing you towards that. But it takes a lot of reinforcement, right?
Yeah, so media, commercials, and so on, they control our perceptions, the way we perceive things, and you're saying that they would put you in a specific environment, or like they would sort of keep bombarding you with different vibes within, so they would sort of change your orientation. They would, so like you have your rudder at the back going French, but they would switch it to go German, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so you are continuously in a form of hypnosis every now and then. So, which makes me think about this. So, can I understand from what you just said here that sometimes, or actually most of the time, you're being hypnotized without your consent? Is that true?
90%. 90% of every day, 90% you're in hypnosis. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So you're being hypnotized without your consent, without you knowing about it at all. And so in real life, again, if we talk about a hypnotist, can a hypnotist hypnotize someone without being physically with them? Like, can they hypnotize them like over the phone or like over Zoom or like something like that?
Yeah, I do it. I work in the office once a week only, Saturdays, but I also do online. And but I personally, when you are the first timer, like comes in, I would actually see you first time in the office just to make sure you can get hypnotized, because not everybody allows to be hypnotized, right? It's like I said, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So when you're in the office and I see you can get hypnotized, the second time I will say you can do it online or you can do it in the office. But in the office is better. What happens is, this is where it gets dangerous, where if you have someone who doesn't know how to handle what comes up, Because even you as a client, when you come in, you don't know what things are hidden in your subconscious. Your subconscious can hide traumatic memories, things that happened to you as a child, because it's too traumatic, too scary, too violent. And when you are in hypnosis, what that means is that your subconscious is open. Everything is open. The black box is open. And whatever comes, I have to be prepared to handle the situation in the office. Because if you don't know if you were raped, I don't know if you were raped, but when we are in hypnosis, that rape can come up. And I don't know if you're going to end up in a panic attack or you're going to have some kind of exposure or something. So I need to be there in the office with you because it's easier to control it over.
It's like opening a Pandora box or like opening a can of worms, really. Like you never know what to expect, and you never know what's hidden within, what will come out, and to what extent it will affect
Exactly.
the person being hypnotized. Now, like in the movie, going back to the movie that hit everyone,
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic, exactly. In the movie, the hypnotist hypnotizes his patient or his victim actually over the phone, and he doesn't tell her like go to sleep, take a deep breath, nothing. He just, like there's a trigger, there's a word that once he says this word, she's totally hypnotized and totally under his control. How true is this?
Somehow true. So what we do when we are, just to give you an example of smoking, when you come in and you want to quit smoking, there's three parts of what the hypnosis, a good hypnosis will understand. The moment you walk in, I have to pick up your language, your cues. It's important to me to see how you talk to me, Lano. As you're talking, I'm picking up how you see your world, how your subconscious sees the world, if you're auditory, if you're visual, if you're a thinker. Because as you're talking to me, you're like, Audice, I want to quit smoking because, when I went to Barbados with my wife, the smell of smoke bothered her. The smell, you're talking about smell. So you're very feeler kind of person. I don't feel right. I want to quit because I feel I need to be, I want to grow older with my kids, the feeling. So I'm picking up on these words that you're a feeler. Then when we start the hypnosis part, I will say to calm you, I'm not going to say, imagine yourself at the beach, see the beach. I would say, feel the wind in your hair. Smell the ocean. I'm going to use cue words that I know your subconscious picks up. So it makes it easier for me to put suggestions. You understood? So I'm putting in the suggestions and I keep saying you're a non-smoker and I'm using your words that you're going to grow older for your kids and all that stuff. But the important part at the end, I put in something called anchoring. Anchoring means that I will reinforce the suggestion when I'm not even with you. So I'll say every time you're outside, every time you see the color green, you're going to remember you're a non-smoker. Every time you see the color
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm putting in something that I picked up that you liked. So green is a common thing because trees, you always see green every morning. Every day you see green. It doesn't matter. So I'll say every time you see green, you're going to remember how much you hate cigarettes and how much you wanted to be a non-smoker. So I'm reinforcing that suggestions without me being there.
Okay.
When you see the green, the subconscious keep remembering. You're not even remembering. You may be driving. Your subconscious is like, oh, I'm a non-smoker. You're not even actually thinking about it. I use green. I use sky. I use a popular one every time you pass a door. How many doors people pass? But it has to be something I picked up that you liked. I sometimes have a client who's always looking at the window. They're talking to me at the window. But I'm like, every time you look at a window, you're going to remember you are no longer angry, whatever it is. So I have to pick up things from you. That's why a skilled hypnotist will pick up these little things. From the moment you walk in, I'm analyzing you because I write the script on the spot. I put it together as we're talking in my mind. And then when I found out your problem and I'm ready to do the hypnosis part, which is like a medicine, when I'm giving you the medicine, I'm reusing your own words to make it easier for your subconscious to accept it. It has to be accepted by you. And that's the skill, is that picking up what the subconscious sees, hears, thinks, how the client sees their world, how they associate with the world, how they understand their world. So I'm there in your world. Without me physically be there, my words are being implanted in there. So that's the anchoring. Everybody does anchoring. Tony Robinson does anchoring. What's his name? Tony Robinson. I don't know if you ever watch him on stage. Whenever he gets nervous, you know what he does? He hits his chest. He remembers to strengthen his skill again. What's his name? The golfer. He did hypnosis too. What's his name? Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, okay.
Every time he touches his ear, he remembers to focus. So everybody has an anchor. We all have, we've all been anchored. When you see red light, what does that mean to you? Red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, you know, red anchors you to stop, like amber to like, you know, be ready, and green is to go. Yeah.
To you and the parents like, come here. You're like, oh shoot, you know, something's gonna happen. We've been anchored for our lives, you know, with these non-subliminal cues around us. So that's hypnosis. Anchoring is hypnosis. When your parents are doing this to you, or the teacher's like, come here, and you're like, uh-oh.
Okay.
It happened automatically. You're like, what did I do?
So in the Hypnotic movie, the hypnotist over the phone uses one of these anchors here, and then, but through this trigger word, he forces or he controls his patient or victim or his prey to commit a crime on his behalf, for instance. Is this possible?
Not to that degree, no. You cannot remember. I cannot force something on you that you morally will not do. So if you are already, I don't want to get into politics here, but if somebody's already ready to kill, and some people took advantage of their vulnerability and they want to turn them into murderers, and they're already kind of deep inside our murderers, yes, it will happen because they're already murderers. They already can easily be brainwashed. But if you're a logical person and you come in and I'm going to say, when you leave this office, you're going to go and kill your wife. And you will never do that in your own. It will never happen. Not to that degree, no. That part in the movie, no. But the anchoring, when he called and he said the keyword, that could happen. For the person to forget what happened or not notice, like what happened to her, she would lose consciousness. That could possibly happen in my clinic. I've seen it where people are like, what happened? They were gone for hours. And to them, it was like, I have been gone for 5 minutes. I'm like, no, you've been gone for 2 hours, because their subconscious was so deeply open that they had no consciousness of what happened. They had no memory of what came out. So I would be recording it. I always record the sessions. So they see and hear what happened, what came out of it. Some people, it all depends on each client. And some people don't get hypnotized at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So some people are like, they're absolutely immune against hypnosis. Some people cannot.
Well, not immune, they don't want to be hypnotized. So remember, we're in hypnosis 90% of our times. But what happened is, if you're in there and I'm trying to talk to you and relax you, because I'm talking to you and I'm relaxing you and relaxing you and relaxing you and relaxing you and you're like thinking of something else and you're not listening to me and your thoughts of something else, I cannot hypnotize you. You just don't want to. Maybe this day you didn't want to. Tomorrow maybe you want. So it all depends on that day, how you feel or how you do it. I cannot force you to be relaxed. I cannot force you to listen to me. I will check. You're in control. I will check to see where you are. I follow your breathing, because your breathing will tell me where you are. I'll do a little bit of checks to see if you're hypnotized or not.
Let's stop for a second.
What happened?
Yeah, this thing's.
You want to stop the recording?
No, it's just this thing and the silly thing that came out in the background.
That's okay. You can cut this part.
Yeah. I'll cut it. Yeah, just want to fix it, and then I'll cut it later. Yeah.
And we don't use pendulum, by the way. I'm sure about the pendulum, what happened, why we use it in movies, but I never use it. But sometimes I use it in front of clients to make them happy. Okay, so tell me where we're going to start again.
Okay, sure. So like the possibility or the extent to which you can fall under hypnosis depends on your personality. So, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I understood, if I'm a very domineering and I have a very solid personality with very profound basis there. It would be quite hard to hypnotize me, but if I'm sort of a very submissive personality, I have a much higher likelihood of being hypnotized. Is this correct?
It's nothing to do with personality. It's how you are a thinker. So for instance, if I get a lot of CEOs who come in for public speaking, like high level CEOs, and usually they're very analytical, very thinker. And I know that they're very anxious. That's part of why they're in their high position.
Yeah.
So they come in, and when I find out, as they're talking, they say, I think. I'm like, okay, I've got a thinker here. I will use a different hypnosis script on them to relax them versus someone who is more calmer, who is relaxed. Has nothing to do with personality. It's just how active their thinking is. And for someone who's always thinker, it's going to be hard for me to relax them because they're anxious. People who are anxious, it's harder for them to relax. It's normal. So I will use something else to relax them. But again, I mean, I tried it with one client who would not get hypnotized. We did it like 2 times. Before the 3rd time, she was like, I really want to try. I said, okay, this time you got to listen to me because I know your thoughts are everywhere. So you just listen to me. Let my voice help you. And she listened, and before I knew it, she was passed out. I'm like, oh, see? She just has to trust herself, because sometimes people lose trust in the process. They think I am going to turn them into something like a chicken or something. So a lot of times when people come in, most of the time, the first hour, it's me dehypnotizing them for what they think hypnosis is, to explain to them that it has nothing to do with what you see on Hollywood. I've got people who stand outside, they never want to come in. Their husbands have to push them in.
Okay.
Because they're like, oh, I don't want to get hypnotized. I don't want to turn into a chicken. I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
So actually, yeah, speaking of dehypnotizing someone, which is what you just said now. So in the movie, again, Hypnotist, we saw 2 hypnotists, and there was sort of, combat between both of them over the same victim or over the same prey. Is this really possible? So, like, can someone hypnotize me and then you dehypnotize me from his hypnosis? And can you insert an counter anchor? Can you insert an antidote for his anchor? Is that possible?
100%. So if you come in and you have anger issues and we find out maybe it was something to do with you being bombarded by angry thoughts all the time, you're being pretty much hypnotizing yourself. Every time you see this, you're angry. So you have an anchor. I would put something in to remove it or to counter it. Anchoring is important. Anchoring is a critical part of hypnosis, not just hypnotize you. I have to put an anchor. And anchoring is really what the movie was showing, but a lot of people don't understand. Even like new hypnotists forget to put an anchor. And that's the most important part, the anchoring. The anchoring, because what we do in the clinic is when you come in the office, what I do is 30%. I just put the seed in. The anchoring is watering the seed. That's the 70%. It continues to grow. So the watering is important, not just putting the seed in and khalas, bye-bye. What's the point? It's not worth it for the client. And they're gonna keep coming back. I tell them, go home and listen to my audios when you go to home. Like, there's a lot of self-hypnosis on YouTube, but I have my own for my own clients. And I say, listen to my own audios because I made them personalized for them. I will personalize the session for the client. All they have to do, sleep, listen to it while they're sleeping. Subconscious is listening while they're sleeping. That's the best time to do hypnosis, while you're sleeping.
Okay.
Because we're working on the subconscious. Who's sleeping? Your conscious, not the subconscious. The subconscious is wide awake. That's the best time to listen to audios, the all these relaxing stuff with self-affirmations and all the hypnosis stuff at night. That's the best time to do it, when you're sleeping.
So yeah, you can really, this is like, most people would think the only time for me to be hypnotized is when I'm awake. But actually, no, you're saying it's exactly the opposite. Because hypnosis targets your subconscious, and it's mostly like the time when it's really fully awake is when your conscious is asleep. So it's the other way around. Now, the name of our program is Love Spectra, so it's definitely very important for me to ask you: can a hypnotist force their patient to fall in love with someone?
Yes, you're planting the seeds. So what I'm doing is I keep telling you stuff about me without you knowing. I may talk to your subconscious, putting subliminal messages in there while you're not noticing about me. I could be anchoring you to notice me. And I'm not gonna lie, it did happen to one of my clients. He was a 24-year-old boy who I was helping because he had just lost his mother. And I was trying to help him, and somehow he started messaging me, calling me, asking me on dates, and I'm like, oh no, I think I hypnotized him to fall in love with me somehow. I'm like, oh my God. And that was not my intention. I did it by accident. I didn't mean it, but I realized that it was like counter interference. He, I think, thought of me as like an older sister, not a mother, but like an older sister or something, because I was fulfilling the need of that motherhood that had passed away from him or he lost. So I had to like put my guard down, and I didn't want to push him away because I didn't want to traumatize the poor kid.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Explain that. And it happens with every, counselor and a therapist. It happens.
So there is this bond that is created. It can be an emotional one. So, yeah. And
I mean, to be under, when to be in hypnosis, you have to trust me. But before you trust me, you have to trust yourself. The trusting is key. If you don't trust me or trust yourself, there's no way at all I can hypnotize anybody.
mhm.
Okay?
So, but it is possible for you, like if you're, let's say, if a hypnotherapist has a crush on one of his or her patients, she can force them to love her or love him. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I just remember something. I remember a long, long time ago, my friend was telling me this. Now it makes sense to me. It's amazing. She's like, oh, Dees, if you want your boyfriend to love you, you know what you do? I'm like, what? She goes, while he's sleeping, you whisper in his ear, I love Audice, I love Audice, I love Audice. She's like, you keep saying that, he starts to love you. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? But now you said she's hypnotizing him while he's sleeping. You know what I mean? That's what she's doing. She was telling me to hypnotize my boyfriend and tell him, you love Audice, you love Audice. Oh no, not you. I love Audice. I love Audice. I'm in love with Audice. I. So it's like hypnosis. That's what she was doing. It's hypnotizing someone. But we do that with our kids. You know, when we read stories for them as children, that's a key thing. You're hypnotizing them. Story reading, all the stuff when you spend time with them before they go to sleep, that's hypnosis. Parents are hypnotizing their kids to love them and to listen to them and do all the good stuff, right?
It's like casting a mental spell. Like, you know.
Well, that's why it was not allowed to be used in the Catholic Church. Hypnosis was considered a magic in the old days. They stopped it. In the 1800s, it was not allowed in any religion. It's considered brainwashing and it's black magic. Until Sigmund Freud and Antoine Mesmer brought it back as science. So like, it has nothing to do, because they don't understand how the subconscious works. They don't understand how the brain works. But it was not allowed to be used for a couple of hundred years by the religion. It was black magic. They thought it was. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because yeah, like when you're talking about it, it just sounds like a spell, like the spell of love or whatever. So it's like, yeah, somebody will be totally under that spell. And last but never least, actually, something we've maybe previously talked about, and I'd like you please to shed more light on it, because I think most of our viewers would be very much interested in it. Past life hypnosis. What is it?
That's a good question. So Sigmund Freud is the one who coined it. So what he did is that he noticed that when the patients are in his chair and they are trying to make sense of their world or their pain or their misery, sometimes their conscious mind has pain but doesn't understand where this pain comes from. So the subconscious will tell, in hypnosis, will tell the client where the pain comes from. And the subconscious talks to you in images, in stories, in pictures, and feelings. That's how it talks to you, in dreams, right? It gives you, that's how it communicates with the conscious mind. Some clients will be able to remember certain things from childhood that make sense why the root cause of their pain. Some clients started imagining that they were in a different life, The pain was there. They experienced the pain and the misery of that life. But whatever, doesn't matter what the subconscious created in the brain, somehow the conscious brain understood the root cause of the pain. That's what happens from a neuroscience perspective. But if my client is someone who believes in reincarnation and he really starts to say, yeah, I am sure it's a past life experience that I saw. Great. If that's what you saw, I am okay with it. It has nothing to do with what I believe. What matters is what you believe, because in the end, you're the one who needed the solution. Your conscious needed to hear the answer. So the subconscious will give you the answer the way you understand it. If you believe in past life, you're going to experience a past life. You're going to notice, you're going to think it's a past life. If you don't believe in past life, you're like, okay, it's a story, but I understand the story now. I understand the metaphor of it. So it all depends how you understand things. So just to give you an example, Muhammad, I had a woman who came in, she had issues with wearing jewelry on her breast, okay? She could not wear anything at all, at all. She was in pain. So naturally I said, I'm not going to do anything until we find out what is the problem. So she did CT scan, fMRI, she did everything. There's nothing wrong with her. The doctor said it's definitely somatic, meaning it's psychological pain. So I'm doing hypnosis, just trying to find out where this pain came from. Why is she in pain? Before she knew it, she was in a past life experience. She was a slave in Africa where she was handcuffed by 2 trees, and then they were left her there to die. And as she's trying to break the handcuffs, she was trying to break it, her bones and skin and all that stuff came out, and she died from the suffering. What happened? Her conscious mind knew there is pain in there, but didn't understand the story, where that came from. The subconscious said, okay, here's the story. It's past life. And now the 2 neurons in the brain made sense. Like, pain, the root cause of my pain, it's psychological. Understood. Okay, got it. She believed it's past life. She really believed it was past life. Good on you. Because what happened is she left, second day she came wearing bracelets. So it worked. She got the answer. If it was you and you don't believe it, you're like, I don't believe it, but I understand the story. I understand now it's psychological. It's just me creating this pain. There's no pain at all. I don't have actual pain. It's all somatic. So it depends on you. If you believe in past life, good on you. If you don't believe in it, good on you. Either way, you're going to get the answer.
So it's sort of a metaphor coming from your subconscious mind, or it's like puts it in a form of, like a parable or like allegory, whatever you want to call it, like just puts it in a story form that sort of explains what the problem is.
Exactly.
Whether if it's true or not, that's a different story.
There's no proof of past life. I mean, past life is philosophical, it's Buddhism, it's religion. I am more of a science girl, so far science has not proved any past life at all. Past life is in science, it doesn't exist. But in psychology, it exists because it does have therapy, healing. So it is listed in the psychological association as a type of treatment, but a science from neuroscience, no, there's no. I haven't yet met anybody who was really a person in a past life. It doesn't exist. But it doesn't matter what we believe, right? What matters is the clients find a healing. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. At the end of this episode, really, Audice, I can't thank you enough, as usual. It has been very interesting. And as always, looking forward to having you time and time again as a very precious guest to this program. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And dear viewers, if we were to conclude here, hypnosis, Audice took us through the trip of hypnosis, what is fact, what is myth, but we really have to watch out because we're being hypnotized all the time. Through TV commercials, through news, through things you read, through things, and media perceptions, really. So media, the person who has the camera is really a hypnotist, because even in the news, the person who has the camera chooses which angle to take. And they would hardly ever take the whole picture. they have a specific agenda to serve, so they just take the part of the picture that serves their agenda. People are trying to sell you something will never tell you the whole story again. They just tell you the bright parts about their product, and you're being hypnotized. And they would totally conceal the the flaws of their product and just totally reveal and highlight the positive things in their products. So we really should watch out. We're being hypnotized all the time. Dear viewers, until we meet again, I hope you have a very pleasant time. Thank you very much.